All right, here we go. Second event of the year for the PSP. We're here at the 2011 Chicago Open out in the suburbs in Joliet. I'm Matty Marshall. I'm up here with paintball legend multi-champion Steve Rapikoff. Steve, how are you feeling this morning?
Feeling awesome. The weather is fantastic today. A lot better than it has been in the last couple of days, and it's great day for paintball.
Yeah,
man.
it is a beautiful day for paintball. There's not a cloud in the sky, which has been quite the change of events, considering that we had some pretty dire weather hit the event. But you know, the PSP crew is second to none, and amazingly, we're able to pull off some last minute, some field creating escapades,
Miracle work.
some miracle work in order to get this event rolling. And our first game of the day coming at you in just about a minute and 42 seconds. We have Vicious taking on CEP. Now, Vicious turned pro in 2010 and CEP turned pro this year, 2011. These two teams have never played each other. Both of them are young, hungry. They're looking to make their mark here in 2011.
Yeah, they're you know, this is their first year at CEP, and in Galveston they came out and played Impact really well, had a chance to beat them, and they played the Russians. They had the lead on the Russians there, 3-1, and ended up losing 5-3. So they've come out and played. They're pushing it hard, which they need to do.
And as a younger team, and we've both been involved with teams where you have young, hungry guys really trying to step up, earn that respect, and make their mark on the sport. And you need to see that out of teams like this, out of Vicious, out of CEP. You want to see them play with fire. They have nothing to lose. You know, it's not like they're coming in here defending a world title or anything. You know, I mean, they really are here to make their mark and try to play that aggressive brand of paintball that obviously they're trying to practice and then bring here to the tournament.
Absolutely, and it gives all those teams on the other fields a stepping stone to see that, hey, we can move up. There is something for us to go to, because it is hard to get to the pro level, and
incredibly hard.
And if they can do it and they can maintain, then those other teams over there watching here, they can say, hey, we could do that next year or the year after.
Exactly. It really is a success story for both these teams to be able to even grace the field on the pro level.
And Vicious, they have a great following, a fan base worldwide.
As well they should, honestly, because they promote, but they are a team that, in my opinion, inspires affection because they work really hard. They have that Midwestern grinding work ethic that they bring to every practice, that they bring to the events. And though they haven't had the success that they would like to see, they've been able to win a lot of events in the lower divisions. All right, here we go. Start of the first point here. Looking at the breakout on your screen, that's Vicious. Looks like Brian Bortle is taken out as he tries to get over here on the snake side. Now, Steve, this field, you got the Dorito side, you got the snake side, and this snake, I think you can do a lot of damage there, but you got to be a smart player.
On the snake side, you just got to stay alive in the first 5-10 seconds, get your bunkers, then make things happen. And that's the hard part, is staying alive.
Yeah, it is the hard part. It looks like, exactly, just happened to Vicious in the back corner on the snake side of the field. Yeah, CEP, much better field. Oh, no, here we go, move for Vicious on the Dorito side, but CEP already in the snake to the 50-yard line.
And he gets blasted in the head. What did we say? Get in the snake, take a deep breath, 5 seconds, and then figure it out. Don't just stick your head up, and he just did.
Yeah, rookie mistake right there. Anytime, if you're out there watching, you're a snake player, you're an up-front player, when you get in a good spot, just chill out in there for a little bit. You do not need to immediately get in a spot and look to do damage. It's like your son actually said, when I get in a spot, I literally count to 5.
Hey, relax, take a deep breath. CEP had this, and Vicious has just turned it right around on them.
Yeah, CEP, they had the initial advantage, and they had the field position, but, you know, honestly, Vicious, though it's only their second-year pro, these guys have been these guys on the roster have been playing for a long time. We see Hooker coming up here, Chris Hooker coming up the snake side, and the first point looks like it's going to go to Vicious.
Completely in favor of CEP early on. They completely eliminated the Vicious snake side.
Yeah.
Which in any other team, they'll go right down the wire. And the snake guy should have just went straight down the snake, and he didn't. He sticks his head up and gets eliminated, and Vicious comes straight down, changes the game.
Yeah, and that's paintball, though. You're going to see that. We've already seen that this weekend. We're going to continue to see it. Paintball is one of those seesaw sports. Both teams are on offense and defense at the same time, though, like we always say, the best offense or the best defense is a good offense in paintball. And with this field layout, I think you're going to see a lot of that. And we just said that before. The snake can pay dividends, but what you have to do is you got to do work in there. You got to get in there. You have to play smart. You can't just get in there. This is not a battleground snake. It's not a snake where you need to get up, get in there, get your gun up, put your guy in, and then try to make the move.
Yeah, you gotta get in there and use your ears. Play it out.
Yeah, so yesterday in the first game of the day, Vicious lost a heartbreaker to Infamous, 7-6. And you know, I think you watched that game. Why don't you break it down for us?
Vicious got out to a 3-1 lead and looked completely in command of the game. Infamous was completely in disarray, didn't really have an idea what was going on, kind of probably a little shocked that they were down 3-1 to Vicious. And then Vicious decided that they wanted to even up the game a little bit and get a few majors, and you can't get any majors, not against Infamous especially, and those penalties cost them.
And Infamous was probably a little happy that it was the coin had flipped, and it wasn't them in the penalty box.
That's right.
Because Infamous is one of the best teams out here, always a favorite, always one of the favorites to win. Very strong field this year, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, Infamous, they are just so plagued by penalties. They're their own worst enemy, and just all the time, and have been for years, always have been. But that being said, they play that aggressive, riding the edge, ride the lightning style of paintball.
Yep. And yesterday it worked in their favor. It turned, Vicious got the penalties, and it definitely cost Vicious. And Vicious came back, and it was a good game. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the scores are; it's the W's.
Yeah, exactly. Now, CEP also played Infamous yesterday, though that score was not even close to the score that the Vicious Infamous game. Infamous defeating CEP 7-1.
Yeah, it was.
All right, around the breakout, you're looking at Vicious again, digging on all the way to the snake, off the break. He makes it into snake 1. There's no one in the snake for CEP. The ref's going to get in there and pull him out, though.
Got hit in the top of his loader there. Got to stay low.
Yeah, it's Colby for Vicious, and yeah, it was a good run he made in there, and it looked like he got in low, but just CEP had that angle, multiple guns up on the snake, and able to take him out. So the advantage right now. Actually, it looks like it's even. There's 4 players left alive for both teams. There's movement on the Dorito side for Vicious.
And here we go again. 2 games in a row. They've eliminated Vicious' snake side, so let's see what they can do this game.
And that's Brian Bortle dying again early for Vicious, and that's not something he normally does.
But CEP loses their snake corner, and now they take snake 1, so let's see if this guy can get down the field here. Who is this?
Yeah, and we're seeing some guys die out of their bunkers too, Steve, and it's just one of those things. If you are able to get out to your bunker alive, I mean, yeah, you need to be actively participating in a ton of gunfights and do your job, but it's just one of those things. The more bodies you lose out of their bunkers for absolutely no reason, it just does not look good. And right now, Brian Bortle, 2 games in a row, coming off early for Vicious.
Looks like Vicious lost another, so I think there's 3 down for Vicious right now. And CP Snake player, he's taking his time this time. He's not sticking his head up too fast. He wants to make sure he gets to play.
Maybe he heard us. Maybe he's got the radio on, the internet direct radio. But yeah, he's in the 50-yard line of the snake, right before that little gap at the exact 50-yard line. He's looking inside, looking down the tape. There's no one at all on this side of the field, and honestly, he really could start making a move right here, because all he has to do is just get past this gap, stay low, and crawl all the way to the end and take out the last player. Doesn't matter though. As CEP finishing up the last Vicious player, the back corner on the Dorito side, and we got ourselves a 1-1 game right now with 16 minutes and 33 seconds left on the clock.
And for CEP, you know, they had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, so to come out here and get some points going, and that's good for them. It's a little confidence that they're going to need, because they had a little bit of a rough day yesterday.
They did have a rough day. They got skunked by the Ironman 7-0, and then Infamous put it on them 7-1. So CEP needs to dig a little bit deeper into their bag of tricks to compete here at the pro level. But honestly, that's just kind of how it goes. I mean,
gonna take
you got to, yeah, it's going to take a while. It's a long road for these young teams that are trying to step up to the pro level, and that's something that they need to keep in mind. Honestly, it's just, you can't expect to just come out, stunt immediately, and start wrecking people at the pro level, especially in a year like this. I mean, Dynasty is absolutely on fire this year. They've won every single event. They're coming into this event. It's one of the greatest stories in the past 5 years at least of paintball. Oliver Lang coming back to Dynasty. They'll be playing this afternoon, and they have went undefeated so far this year. They've won every tournament that they have competed in. Now, also, can't forget about the Russians.
Absolutely.
They are always in the hunt. They got a lot.
They're the world champs. They're
two-time defending world.
Till someone beats them, they are the champs.
Absolutely, and you can't overshadow that. Can't be overshadowed necessarily by Dynasty's run.
Right.
It's both of those teams. I mean, at any events, those would be the favorites right now. But then again, you got to keep in mind Damage. You got to keep in mind Infamous. You know, there's the field is very strong. Yeah,
they had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, but they could easily be 2-0 right now. I mean, they lost some close games, 7-6,
5-3,
5-3, and 7-6. Like, they were there.
Yeah, the X Factor game went to overtime too.
Yeah, so there's teams here that can win.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. And I'll tell you what, that's what I love about professional paintball right now, is that these teams, there's so many teams at the very top tier that any one of them could win an event. And Damage could win an event. Legion, obviously. I mean, who knows the Ironmen too? I mean, the Ironmen are rebuilding, but they look at the roster is solid.
Yeah, they played well.
And they beat the Russians at the first event of the year. All right, here we go. Next point on the breakout. Looks like CEP getting shot, trying to get to Snake 1 as he checked it as he glided in, and another one coming off for CEP on the Dorito side. Does not look good as they have 3 players bunched up in the center of the field.
And it's another one down, so up and another one down. So it's G4 quickly for Vicious.
Vicious is just on fire at this point right here. Now they're streaking down the field, guns ablazing, and off the break they were pretty much able to shoot 2 players immediately off the break. They destroyed both players in the back center right after that. So just dominant gunfighting skills right now for Vicious in this point, as they will take the lead 2-1 with tons of time left on the clock, 15:44 left to go. So, we're talking about Russian Legion. That's another team that's really kept a pretty solid lineup for a long time now. I mean, with the exception, they had Dave Baines on the team for a long time. Dave Baines has left that team.
Now on Damage.
Now he's on Damage, and which honestly, Dave is he's one of those mercenaries that I don't care what team he gets on, he's going to help that team have a better chance of winning.
He's just an experienced back player, and you need that position.
Yeah, he had a bad game, though. I actually talked to him yesterday afternoon. He was very frustrated at the last game that they had, and I asked him what happened, and he just said, not a lot of good things happened. I'm like, well, how were you dying? He's like, I just got shot in the face constantly. Every time I looked out, I was getting shot in the face early.
He was a paint magnet.
Got shot out of my bunker every single time. I'm like, Dave, that is so unlike you. He's like, I know. But that is another thing that you have to mentally battle through when you're playing this game. This game, at this level, just like any other professional sport, is it's just so mental. It's such a mental challenge. You've honed your skills, and you've taken your talent and then honed the skills to that talent. But at the same time, once you get all that stuff going on, you still have to do battle with the best players in the world, and you're not going to win every game. You're not going to win every point, and you have to deal with those losses.
It's consistency. Some of these guys want to go out there and be superstars every point. They don't need to be superstars. They just need to go out there and do their job, be consistent throughout the match and throughout the tournament. And that's what I tell guys. You don't need. Yeah, you're going to have guys in moments where guys just have a phenomenal game, shoot 4 or 5 guys. It's going to happen for some of those guys out there, but it's being consistent as a player, do your job, what your team needs you to do. They need you to get to that snake corner and live, do it.
Yeah, and we used to talk about all the time, too, is that I would rather have a player that plays at a 7 or an 8 every single game instead of getting those guys that they're playing at a level 10 one game, a level 2 the next game. You can't count on guys like that.
No.
You can't strategize and put a game plan together around those types of players. So you really want to grab those steady, clutch guys and then build your game plan around them. All right, here we go. Breakout here. Vicious with the lead, 2-1 in case you're just tuning in. Tons of time left on the clock. A little over 15 minutes left. A little more conservative breakout for Vicious, Steve, on this point.
Yeah, they're as it was yesterday. Yesterday morning, a lot of teams were really aggressive, and then in the afternoon, they were getting a little bit, playing the field a little bit slower, taking their time. And
I think that's a factor of all the teams just getting to know. And actually, I'll tell you what, though, that's kind of interesting because as you get to know the field, you normally play it faster. Oh, look at this. And CEP just getting...
Snake player gets in there, and he's got a great opportunity to do damage, and he gets sloppy in there again.
And that's what we were talking about, 10-2. He played the last point, or the point they won at a 10. Played great in the spot, very smart, and then gets again into that 50-yard line, gets taken out. Look at this, both teams seesawing back and forth, but it looks like after a little bit of chaos, Vicious, better field position as they start mopping up the last of the seed players. Yeah, so CEP not looking good right now as Vicious just, we always say win those close points, and in this gunfighting back and forth battle, it looks like Vicious is going to take the lead 3-1.
Yeah, and like the seed player, he great position. Doesn't have to force it because at the time there's still 3 his guys on the field against Vicious 3 guys. So you're in a 50 snake. Relax. Don't force it. And he forced it. He's duking it out with the guy in the Dorito 1. And how he came out and shot him, that's a great shot. Whoever did that.
Yeah, great shot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Great shot. So in case you guys are just tuning in, this is the 2011 Chicago Open out in Joliet, Illinois. I'm Matty Marshall, and I'm up here with paintball legend, multi-world champion Steve Rabikoff. You know, Steve, how do you feel about the state of paintball right now? I mean, you've been involved in this sport. I thought it was funny. I was actually watching a clip on YouTube of you, no face mask like we used to rock back in the days, just goggles, playing at the Skinny Rab, playing. Not that you're fat, but you're definitely bulky now. You know, like you've been lifting some weights. That was the pre-weightlifting Rab.
The ESPN.
Yes,
Houston
the
Heat? You saw that?
ESPN Houston Heat. You had that heavy accent too. It was great. Steve's from Detroit originally, so you know we're talking about this is 15, 17 years ago, something like that. So
yeah,
you still had that.
It was Orlando. It was at ESPN. I mean ABC Wide World of Sports, and 1995 Houston Heat, and it was 10-man. It was that's when they were trying to get paintball to TV.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and
kind of a precursor to the airball.
It was a precursor to the airball.
Yeah.
And it's 15 years ago, and now that clip is running around on YouTube and on Facebook, and it's
yeah, it's great.
But like back to the question, what the state of paintball right now, I think, you know, like as we're coming out of this recession and the economy's changing, I think that paintball is growing again. And I just got back from Thailand a couple weeks ago, and the worldwide paintball is going.
Yeah, I totally agree. Got guys traveling all over the place. All right, we'll get back to that in just a second. But right now, next point coming up, it looks like Vicious losing a player on this snake side of the field from the back corner. Vicious is changing it up a little bit. They're throwing some different looks out there as they go to the stand-up temple in the center. You're looking at the overhead shot right there from Vicious, and that's a little bit of a change. They send a player to that center stand-up temple, and he's rolling his gun towards the snake side of the field, trying to keep CEP out of the snake. CEP also changing it up. They send a player to that exact same bunker mirrored on the opposite side of the field. You're looking at CEP right now, the cross-field spread. 5 players left alive for them as they're trying to battle out and get to that back corner. No, actually 4 players left alive as they lose one of their back players. And they have a player moving to the pin. He's trying to get over on the Dorito side of the field. Scurries out, gets to the stand-up can, and he gets shot. Well, at least he died going forward.
I'll never hate on a guy like that. You're going to die, go forward.
Oh, looks like out of the back center. That might have been
Hooker.
Was that Hooker or Brock?
I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell from here, but needless to say, it looks like CEP trying to even it up. Oh, they take out the Vicious player. That stand-up. That was Brock Jolliffe. So, yeah, it looks like Chris Hooker died out of that back center, and then Brock Jolliffe been around the block, played for Diesel back in the day. Very well-respected and well-liked player. Get taken out. And now CEP's trying to get themselves back in this game as they come down the snake. And there's just one player left alive for Vicious in that stand-up can on the Dorito side of the field. So it's Keen. Yeah, so Keen able to polish off the last, number 21, Keen for CEP, polishing off the last player for Vicious. And we got ourselves a 1-point match. The score is going to be 3-2. As long as CEP has a clean flag hang with 12 minutes and 49 seconds left to go. So, Steve, you're saying just got back from Thailand.
Yeah, I just went to the PAL series over there in Thailand. And, God, over there in Asia, they're so enthusiastic about paintball. They love paintball. And if anyone is listening, hello to all of you guys over there. The event, and we went to Asia World Cup last year, 133 teams, somewhere around there. From all over that area, just India, Saudi Arabia, just countries that you would never imagine people playing. I think
it's great too, because we used to go to Europe a lot, and Asia didn't really have much paintball, but you really have seen, even though we have had quite the disastrous economy for the past couple of years worldwide. But that being said, there's paintball. It still is existing. It's still thriving relatively, and I think one of the things is like, okay, well, I could take my kid to Disneyland, and that's going to cost me a bunch of money. Or I could take and play paintball. It's going to cost me some money, but not as much money.
But I could play and do something with my kid.
Exactly, and it's a little more interactive. Yeah, and so we're seeing that kind of worldwide, is that you still have that growth that's existing because there's still a lot of people that are just finding paintball for the first time.
And 3 weeks ago, I played paintball with my nephew. He just turned 10 years old back at Virginia. We played at Pep's Paintball, and I played paintball with 10 kids, all turned 10, 11 years old, just loving paintball. Oh. And that's where it is. It's at that age bracket, and it's growing, and I love it. I think paintball is doing really well, and it's growing, and it's growing at the young age.
Yeah, it really is. And at the pro level, you're also seeing a level of parity that's good for the sport, because even though now it's kind of funny that I'm saying that because Dynasty's won every event this year, but I think that more has to say about how good Dynasty is and not necessarily about how bad the other teams are.
Right, and we'll touch on that in a sec too.
Yes, we will.
That's a good story.
All right, so here we go. Just about to start at the next point. You're looking at the cross shot here. Both teams on the breakout. Look at decent cross-field spread for both teams. Better field position.
Penalty.
The penalty. First penalty
Looks
of the
like Brian
day.
Bortle.
And Vicious loses three players at the same time. So it does not look good at this point, as CEP is going to be in very good position to try to tie this up as long as they don't throw it away. They have all 5 players left on the field. Rolling their guns. And all they really need to do is just identify where the last 2 players are. But, see, when anything chaotic like that happens, it's going to take a couple beats for the opposing team to figure it out.
Yeah, because they're like, what's going on? There's a lot of dudes walking off, and then they're trying to get information from their coaches. And
yeah, and now Keen making his move.
Oh, and he gets iced. You got to run with your gun up.
Yeah, it looked like CEP player trying to make a dynamic move down on the Dorito side of the field to take out Vicious's player. Oh, and he finally looks like he might have got smoked. He's still in there trying to handle, and he finally gets taken out. So here comes CEP. Cross-side paintball, going to tie it up at 3. We got ourselves a game. It looked like early Vicious, it's been a close game the entire time.
It has.
But it did kind of look like, I thought, body language-wise and kind of the way that the teams were carrying themselves on the field, that Vicious was going to start running away once they put up that 3-1 mark.
And it's like we say every tournament, stay out of the penalty box.
Stay out of the penalty box.
You stay out of the penalty box, you have a better chance of winning. And
so easy to say, so hard to do. It seems like.
Stay out of the penalty box.
But I would anytime that anyone ever says that, oh well, you're going to get penalties and it's going to happen. You know what? No, it doesn't work like that, because look at a player like Tim Montresor. Okay, Tim. He was, I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2008. He was one of the highest penalized players in the league. I mean, he was a penalty machine for an entire season because he was playing that aggressive line. And then the next season, he doesn't get 1 penalty the entire season.
He lets Oliver take that title from him.
Oliver blew everyone out of the water that year. But the thing is that, and now that's not to say, look, Tim is getting a ton of reps. Yeah. He had more points played than almost every single other player in the entire league.
Change his way of playing.
So that's impressive. So I would always point to that. Anytime there's an argument about, oh, hey, penalties you're going to get penalties. Yeah, you know what? You are going to get. The team is going to get penalties. Yeah. But that's when you really have to take it upon yourself to try to play as clean of a game as possible, because anytime you get a penalty, all you're really doing is telling your team, hey, look, either I don't trust you, or I don't have the mental capacity to have the body knowledge to figure out when I'm hit and when I'm not. Yeah, hey, you know what? Then there's bad calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's bad calls every game, not every game, but there's bad calls every single tournament, and that is also part of the sport.
And that for any teams that are listening, watching, wherever you are,
or any sport,
there are going to be bad calls.
Get over it.
Get over it. It's part of the game.
Yep.
Talking to a guy yesterday, I'm like, how'd it go? He's like, oh, it went good, but ref screwed me. No.
No, you let it be that close. Yeah. That's when anytime that would ever happen, and be like, what happened? Like, well, we got screwed by the ref, but honestly, we shouldn't have let it be that close to let it affect the game.
Oh, and CP makes the snake 1 on the break, but they lose their snake corner at the same time.
And they lose their back center player as well. So just 3 players left on the field for CEP, and also getting chopped up trying to move forward is Vicious. But they're able to get Colby into Snake 2, so all the way to the 50-yard line is Colby for Vicious. And he seems to be having gun issues. He's going to try to get his, I don't know, maybe he didn't turn his gun on, but he's still messing with his gun, trying to get his gun up in there. Cross-side also has a player, but they have a player in Snake 1, so better field position for Vicious.
Absolutely, but being in that snake is money for him right now for CP, because it's stopping that Vicious snake player from doing any extra work. So he needs to just stay alive right now.
Yeah, and this is a close point, and you're going to see anytime that you get it where it's tied up 3-3 or any tie, the teams are going to start to play slower. They have to. You don't want to make a mistake. The game is close, and you want to put your team in the best position to win. Now, that being said, you still want to take the moves that the other team gives you, but you have to be really careful on those issues where you're going to force it. And this is when you can start to see that long point. In fact, I always tell guys, hey, if it's tied, bring more paint out. Yeah. Bring another pot of paint out, because
can't hurt.
That's such a pet peeve of mine, man. I can't stand to see when guys run out of paint.
They ran out yesterday. Billy Wing and Visaya from Russian Legion had a one-on-one, and they both were picking up paint
balls off the ground.
Yeah, like I'm looking. They only brought like 3 or 4 pods. What are you doing? Bring more paint.
So slow, tense moments here. Tied up 3 apiece, 9 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. On your screen, you are looking at the shot, overhead shot from cross-eyed paintball side of the field. And you can see the CEP player. Now you're looking at Vicious' side of the field. They're in at the 50-yard line. Colby. Now Colby is playing smart in here, and he doesn't really have a lot of shots. There's no cross-eyed players really that have any sort of penetration on the Dorito side. They do have the back Aztec, and they have the Dorito right next to that on the back line. And that Dorito player is just zoned up. All he's doing right now is just putting and if I were him, you know, hey man, couple balls every couple seconds, about an inch off that bunker, right in the notch of that snake.
Absolutely. This game's going to come down to which snake player gets eliminated first.
Yep.
And when that player gets eliminated, it's going to be difficult for that other team.
Yeah, it's really going to put the opposing team in a bad position. But I'll tell you what, I don't really think it's going to. Now, Colby has a back player behind him. There is no back player for CEP's CEP snake player right now. So it's really up to him to handle his business here in the snake and try to get some kills out of here.
Absolutely. But with 4-3, Colby eventually he can go trade with the if he takes out the CEP snake player, then Vicious still has the numbers.
Yes.
For the snake corner to come on down the snake.
Yeah, the problem is though he's not close enough. I mean, I'm wondering maybe he could run the highway, but he's going to need that gun to come off of him from the from the Dorito.
Yeah.
Because that Dorito is just all he's been doing is literally he's not brought his gun down for the past 3 minutes. The Dorito player for CEP, and that's in the top left-hand corner of your screen. You can see up there that small Dorito kind of towards this, looks like it's in the center of the field. That Dorito right there, he's got a shot on the snake. It's not the greatest shot in the world. Oh,
Vicious
Brock
loses their center tower.
So Brock Jolliffe getting shot out of that stand-up center Aztec again. The tall temple. But Vicious able to make a move up on the Dorito side of the field. So Vicious, much better field position right now than CEP. Colby Colby's playing smart in there, man. He's got one more pot on his back. He's got a full hopper of paint right now. He's got about 7 minutes and 45 seconds to do work. Now move up on the Dorito side of the field to the 50-yard line. So both 50s are being held by Team Vicious right now. The snake player, looks like that's Keen, is backing up off of that snake. He looks good in there. I like his body language right now. He looks very composed.
He's holding it down.
He's trying to put all the variables together in his head right now. He definitely realizes where everyone is. And here goes now the move being made. He's got to trade out. Let's see if the referee pulls them both out. So great job by Colby. Awesome move down the snake. That's exactly what Vicious needed. And they still have Brian Bortle in the back corner.
And this is where having a good back player
that's Chris
helps.
Hooker.
This is where you get an experienced back player that can become an offensive player. That's what you need, man.
Oh, and honestly, I mean, that is such a crucial element to the game. I mean, if you don't have back players that can become front players or back players, I'm not necessarily saying they need to be as small as the front players, and it is Chris Hooker. Chris Hooker is one of the best shots in the game. The guy is a monster gunfighter. He shoots so many guys off the break for Vicious. He's one of the reasons that they have been able to have the success that they've had in the past couple years as they were working their way up to the pro level. Oh, and I jinxed him. Loses his gunfight. Chris Hooker loses his gunfight out of that stand-up can.
You said he shoots a lot of people. You didn't say he was a phenomenal one-on-one player. So we'll give him that.
I did. He does. I'm not taking anything away from the kid. I mean, the guy shoots a lot of people. However, lets Vicious down, and
that's a backbreaker right there.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker for the Vicious fans worldwide as CEP is going to take the lead. And like we talked about earlier, Steve, CEP getting destroyed yesterday and still looking for their first win. They have not won a game yet so far this year. They lost every game. And that another team.
This game will be really good for them because their next game is against the Russians. So
yeah,
you would like to get a win. And not to say that they can't beat the Russians or they won't, but they got a little battle ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, though.
This if they can pull this out here, that is a big confidence builder going into that.
It is. It's a huge confidence builder. And one of the reasons why is that when they played the Russians in Texas, that was a close game. It was 5-3.
And they were up 3-1.
Yeah.
And I think they had the Russians and the crowd going, wow, they got these guys up. And obviously the Russians came back. But knowing that they played on the field with them and they get this win. Like, hey, if they can pull this out and beat Vicious here, this is a big win for them because Vicious this is their second year now in this league. So in the pro division.
Yeah.
So it's a big win for these guys, and the fact that it's 4-3, they decided they didn't want to be skunked again like yesterday.
Well, you want to see that. And not only do you want to see that, you have to see that for longevity's sake, because teams that come into the pro division, this has been historically how it works. If a team comes into the pro division and gets beat up for a year, most of the time they can take it. If they get beat up for 2 years, sometimes they can take it. But once you start to kind of get along in your pro career, and especially if you still haven't won a game, that is when those teams start to fold. It's just it's so, and not to take anything away from, not to say, hey, they're cowards or any of that. That's not it.
It's just
well, at a certain, hey man, not everyone can play at this level. These are the best players in the entire world, and I don't care how much heart you have, just physically and mentally, not everyone is going to be able to play paintball at this high of level. All right, so on the breakout,
Vicious loses one.
Looks like Parker. So Parker getting shot for Vicious as he tries to get out on the snake side of the field, and CEP also losing a player. So both teams with 4 players left on the field. Moves in the center for Vicious.
Both mirrored up. CEP's got both towers in the center of the field.
Yeah, better field position for CEP as they have a player in both of the center towers and both.
Oh, Snake player gets center punched. You didn't have to go all the way to Snake. He could have stopped short.
Yeah, he could have stopped short and then get small bites.
Yeah,
you don't need to take those. Hey, I love it when players play with reckless abandon, but you still gotta go smart.
Yeah.
So both teams right now are trying.
And the fact that CP's up 4-3, they know Vicious has got to come. I mean, and not to get lackadaisical, but take your time.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Don't play lackadaisical, like you said. However, it's a higher level of paintball. It's a higher level of paintball IQ when you're thinking about these things, and you have to think about these things. If you are up by 1 point and there's under 5 minutes left in the game, like we have now, you carry an extra pot of paint out, and you have to know, look, if they give me a move, I'm going to take it. I'm going to continue to play my game plan. But you also have to know that the team that's playing against you, that's down a point, they have to come, and they will come.
That's right.
And it's a lot harder to run down the field out in the open trying to get to spots than it is to shoot someone coming at you out in the open.
That's right.
So you got to keep all these things in mind when you're out there and you're playing this game.
A lot going on. There's a game within a game. It's like a little bit.
It's like one of those. It's like one of those Russian dolls. Yeah. It's a game within a game within a game. And you're Russian. You should know all about that. All right, moves for CEP as they get to the box right behind the A. This is the first time we've seen anyone up to that spot, actually. And he is rolling his gun on the snake side of the field. He's trying to keep hooker for Vicious. Really kind of stuck back there.
Guy at the center A, he needs to just relax. He cannot afford to he's going to move up.
And he gets shot. He traded out, though, so that was a very important kill.
Here comes CEP getting ready to take that A again.
Yeah, CEP and he takes out Chris Hooker. So nice job by CEP to go up 2 points. They look great right now. So it's going to be tough for Vicious to get back in this match with only 3 minutes and 37 seconds remaining and down 2 points. Look for an aggressive breakout and look for them to be dominantly gunfighting and trying to get a better position.
They have to. They got to keep their snake guys alive on the break. They're losing their snake guys over and over. They got to find a way to stay alive.
It's been tough. This is a hard snake to get to. I mean, we haven't really been seeing either one of these teams run to it off the break. The one time that CEP did try to take it off the break, he got shot off the break. Yeah. So it's a snake you can do some stuff with. However, you have to be very methodical and you have to play smart in there. This is not one of those laddered, throw 3 guys in it, send all your forces that side and just bloodbath it out until somebody lives over there. This is not that type of snake. This is a much more strategic snake, and because of that, therefore, the whole entire field is a much more strategic, slower playing type of field.
It is, and that's why, got to make those, when the time is available to make that long run and get in there and go all the way down, great. But you got to take bits and pieces, man, and
small bites. We say it all the time. Small bites. You guys, and I don't blame the paintball media because, hey man, you're trying to put the most charismatic moves you possibly can on the screen because that's what looks awesome.
Yeah.
But these kids, as they're coming up,
wins.
yeah. What looks awesome is that trophy sitting on your mantle at home and that check in your bank account. That looks even more awesome than some Superman dive into Snake 1 off the break.
Everyone wants to be cool and look cool.
Yeah, but you know, as kids are coming up, they watch these guys making these dynamic moves, and that's not how the game's played. I mean, you're watching. That's not how every move should be made. And I honestly, like, take a guy like Nicky Cuba. When Nicky Cuba first got on Excessive, when we started that team, he was that try to be a superstar, make gigantic moves. And he completely revamped his game. And now he's the complete opposite of that player. He can make superstar moves, but he earns all of them.
Yeah. Uh-oh, going in and checking. Better be clean. He's clean.
And look at this. We talked about an aggressive breakout from Vicious, and what do? They send a player to the Snake off the break. It's Colby, and he makes it in clean. And then Brian Bortle right behind him. Oh, and Brian Bortle, it's a little too greedy, trying to come over and run and gun and get into the bunker right behind the little notch behind the Snake.
But they eliminate CEP's snake side player, so CEP has no snake side corner snake at all.
Yeah, and Vicious also has a player in the 40-yard line, Dorito, and he's shooting snake side. So much better field position for Vicious right now in this point. They need to do something with it. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. The score 5-3. Vicious has to score 2 points within regulation to try to take this to sudden death overtime.
They have to. And when we get down to minute 30, you got to watch out for those penalties.
We only had one overtime game yesterday, and it was X Factor versus Aftershock. And X Factor took Aftershock down 7-6. Aftershock also looking for their first win of the season as they are 0-6. Who would have thought that?
After coming out of World Cup last year, making
second?
the final.
Yeah.
Took second. I mean, it was a little beatdown, but still, they made the final.
Yeah, and I know they made the finals, but going back to World Cup, Aftershock has lost their last 8 games.
And they're close. They're not just getting blown off the field. They're like right there. They're just making some mental mistakes.
And we will see them later this afternoon. But right now, Brock Jolliffe making his moves up in the center of the field. But on your screen, you're looking at the Dorito side of the field. And as time is starting to tick off, and Vicious needs to get something going here. They're still trying to press into 3 bodies. The crowd is just bird dogging the absolute hell out of the player over here for Vicious.
They brought all of Tennessee.
But it looks like, so one more CEP falling, and it's just 2 of them left. But Vicious players walking off in droves. Looks like there might be only 2 players left alive on the field for Vicious to try to at least get 1 point here, make it a 1-point match with 1 minute and 22 seconds left. It's not looking good. Why would you? I think Vicious just conceded that point.
They did. They feel that in minute 16 that they have a better chance.
I do not. I disagree with that call. I think that in a situation. Okay, let's look at this situation. Right now, there's 1 minute and 15 seconds left. The score was 5-3, and we had a one-on-one situation. Now, okay, I totally understand that a one-on-one could very easily have taken most of that time off the clock. However, it's nearly impossible, especially on a field layout like this, to score 3 points in 1 minute and 16 seconds. Not physically impossible, but strategically on this particular field layout, I don't see that happening.
And they just got to watch out for getting a penalty in the last
90 seconds. Yeah,
because you get that's automatic. See ya.
Yeah, so it just does not look good for Vicious right here. CEP, 1 minute and 16 seconds away from their first professional game victory. Hey man, baby steps, right? We got to win a game before we can win a tournament.
Let's win a game. Let's get a match. And
it's a simple progression. Have a better breakout than the other team. Win a gunfight. Winning gunfights wins points. Winning points wins games. Winning games wins tournaments. So you got to start at the beginning.
And this is the baby step.
Training wheels first.
That's right. And Vicious is no slouch.
No, man. We talked about this earlier in this match. Is Vicious, they proved that they deserved to have the chance, not the chance, but they proved it that they deserved to play in the Pro Division by doing it right. They won every single division they played in as they moved up the ranks. They won a tournament every year, and they were always one of those. Yeah, they earned it. They earned the right to play here in the pro leagues. Now they've struggled in the pro leagues, but hey, man, that just comes with the territory. That's how it works. But they are getting outclassed in the second part of this game by CEP, and it really has. I mean, they did get a penalty, but it's not the penalty's fault that they are where they are.
No, like Brian Bortle, surprisingly, he's just catching paint game after game. He's having a rough game so far.
Yeah, and I love Brian. He's a great kid. His parents are patrons of paintball. Without them, their paintball in the Midwest would not be the same. He is struggling in this match right here, very much so. All right, so on the breakout, good breakout for CEP. Looks like all 5 bodies left alive. And so what they need to do is just gun up. Just never stop shooting. At this point, you never stop shooting your gun if you're CEP, man. And strong move up in the center, all the way past the 50-yard line. Vicious. Let's see if he can do something with it. He's going to continue to try to make his run through, and it doesn't look like he got anybody. And that's all the offense that Vicious has, as 3 more players, Brian Bortle, Parker Rosenthal, Colby, all coming off for Vicious.
Cleaning out your barrel, having pain problems. Not this.
Yeah, it looks like I think Zach Sherman is the last player left alive, and he is trying to unscrew or screw his barrel back on, and he is just going to get run down and get a little back massage.
So finish off with a 7-3 win. Congratulations, CEP and all their fans.
Yeah, and they need it though. If they want to have any chance of advancing to play tomorrow, they're going to have to really score a high body count high point total every single time.
They're going to have to beat the Russians 7-0.
Yeah, they're going to have to beat the Russians 7-0, which.
And hey, it could happen.
It could happen. You know, this is paintball. Anything can happen out here. Everyone's got a gun.
And you know what? You want to have skill, but sometimes you need a little luck to win tournaments. I always said that. You gotta have a little
man,
bit
we
of luck.
always say, I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
I'll take the luck.
So with just 18 seconds left to play, our final score, first match of the day, Vicious taking on CEP Cross-Eyed Paintball. The score is going to be 7-3. I'm Matty Marshall. I'm up here with Steve Rabikoff, and next up we have Infamous, LA Infamous taking on the Ironman. Now, Infamous and the Ironman, they've played 8 matches in the past 5 years. And the Ironman have won 6 of those 8 matches. So it's going to be a pretty awesome game. Both of those teams look pretty strong. We'll be right back after a few messages. Do not go anywhere.